Welcome to BioRhythms. We are back at the Dream City University. I'm Terrence Affer Anderson. BioRhythms is brought to you by the New Journal and Guide and executive publisher Brenda H. Andrews. We have another extraordinary guest for you today, and I'm very pleased to introduce her to you, a singer, songwriter, producer. Her name, M'Jestie. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So, where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey, Essex County, New Jersey.
And you are a singer, songwriter. Have you always had that interest in music?
I've loved music since I was a kid. My mom, my family, very musical family, and I just grew up around great music.
What is your favorite kind of music?
Ooh.
Probably a bunch of different styles.
I'm just gonna say Motown because the Jackson 5 Christmas album set me up for life.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So I introduced you as a singer, songwriter, producer. Right. And when I came into your offices here, I came into the studio, I saw some gold records and some platinum records.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us, what's up?
Well,
where do these things come from?
Well, I've been blessed. I've been really blessed in music, and I've gotten the opportunity to work with some great people. Rihanna is the reason why I have all the plaques on my wall.
You've written for Rihanna?
Yes, sir.
And what was that piece?
I wrote a song called Ponder Replay. It was actually her first recording. I'm very proud of it. It was her first single. It helped her nail a record deal. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What is it about?
Ponder Replay. It is about putting the song on repeat. It's about having fun, going to a party and enjoying the music and loving it so much that you want to do it all over again. So put the song on a repeat, turn the music up. It's kind of a shout-out song to the DJ, I guess.
What inspires you to write? You know, what do the ideas come from?
I used to say that the walls started to speak to me.
Oh, really?
I used to actually say that, yes. And then once I got into the music industry, it's more structure. So when you want to write a hit record, you sit down and you try to write a hit record. So it's a little bit different. Sometimes you write from inspiration. In the industry, sometimes you have to write from the formula.
You know, I really like what you just said, the walls speak to you. Mm-hmm. You have to elaborate on that. What does that mean? What do you mean when you say that?
It could be anything. I could just be in my car and just decide to open my mouth and a song will just fly out. Or someone will present me with music or some sort of instrumentation. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it just comes. I mean, it's a beautiful feeling when you just hear.
How would you describe that feeling? You said it's a beautiful feeling. What does it feel like?
You get to you start celebrating.
Okay, that works.
You celebrate because you hear it. You hear it already. It's already complete. You know exactly what to do. And it's almost like you don't have to think about it or try or anything. It's like, where is this coming from?
So we just spoke about the gold and the platinum. What does that mean in terms of the number of records and units sold? I saw one thing, it was 2 million sold.
That was very exciting.
Yes,
actually, now Volume 20 used the song Ponder Replay, and 2 million sold. It was exciting to have.
Now, I'm sorry, pardon my ignorance, but 2 million, that's the platinum or is that the gold? Or?
That's double platinum. So platinum.
Excuse me, double platinum.
Yeah, it's double platinum. So, and that's really difficult to do nowadays. A lot of records don't sell that many units, but I was blessed. 2005 was a good year for me.
You know, you were telling me earlier as we were talking about how you would catch the bus, mm-hmm. and catching the bus was an experience because there would be different musicians that you would meet along the way, and the bus drivers and the folks on the bus became familiar with your music and so forth. Share that with us.
I was a bus kid. I was always on the bus, either going to school or I started working at an early age, so just, you know, riding the bus to go to work and things like that. And sometimes these bus drivers, you get on every day and they get to know you. And I talk to everybody. I've always been very talkative. So I see someone, I'll ask them for the time and strike up a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I would just find people with similar interests. And one day you get on and you hear someone beatboxing. You're like, oh, well, you beatbox? Well, I got a song I wrote. You want to try to, you know, just kind of, you know, go ahead and beatbox and I'll sing it. And before you know it, you know, my voice would just travel through the bus. And sometimes people who would get on at the same time every night. Right. Before you know it, you know, you kind of just created that little fan base right there on the bus, and the bus drivers, you know, knew. And if you were a little bit late coming out of work, they'll sit there and wait for you, you know, extra couple minutes. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and root for you to hurry up and make it or run to the bus. And it was a great experience. It was like my community. The first time I was ever called M'Jestie was on the bus.
How did that come into being? How did the name M'Jestie happen?
Well, my family, my parents, they named me Alicia Kiana Brooks.
Okay.
And when I was a
Those are all pretty names.
yes, thank you. And when I was a kid, I always tried to figure out if I was, when I'm famous, always when I'm famous, what would my stage name be?
You're famous now, M'Jestie.
Yes, thank you. I'm getting there. I Kiki B was a name I came up with when I was a kid. So as I grew up, I was like Kiki B because Kiana,
Right,
so
right.
Kiki B. That was my thing. And then I said, when I got older, I wanted to really have a name that said, okay, I'm on my journey. And I don't know, one day I was just playing around with different names and I thought of a name M'Jestie, and it M'Jestie kind of shot into my head, and I was like, well, I'm really humble, so that's kind of a weird name. I can't really say Your Majesty.
Right.
So I took out the A and put an apostrophe there, kind of hold the space, and pronounced it M'Jestie, and it just kind of felt good.
Well, with the kind of things that you're doing in the music industry, the word royalty does in fact come to mind, so M'Jestie seems very appropriate.
Well, thank you very much.
So tell us about Dream City University.
Dream City University, after my success with Ponder Replay, I came to Virginia, and I was just wanting something to do. I just wanted a new dream, something to chase, because my dream really was, since I was 7 years old, to have a song on the radio. And so I kind of got that in spades. So
yeah, really.
My whole life's journey was there. I was 23 years old, and I was done.
That happened at age 23.
Yes, sir. So there I was with my dream in my hand and accomplished. And it took me a few years to realize I needed to set a new goal for myself. And I started looking for inspiration. And I had this vision of this school where these kids came to create music and produce. And, instead of going to regular high school, they could come and become superstars. And it just made me feel really good.
So if I have a child that is of a certain age, do you accept kids at all ages, or?
Yeah, 4
Okay.
and up.
Okay.
Over 21, I'm more selective.
Okay. So I have a child, let's say my child is 12, 13 years old, and I think my child has some talent, some potential, and I send them to you. What happens?
Well, they come in, they get a tour, they get to meet me, we hang out a little bit, and I get to learn more about them, their dreams. First thing they do is they write their What's Your Dream essay to kind of map out what it is they really, really want. And then we would spend time getting on stage. If they're dealing with stage fright issues, we work with that. Most kids are dealing with confidence issues. They have a lot of talent, but you have to really work on their confidence. So we just love them and give them confidence. And we watch these artists.
And what kind of things have you guys done?
Oh, it's been great. We've got a chance to go on tour. We've opened for Mindless Behavior, Jacob Lattimore, Diggy Simmons, OMG Girls. We did Chrysler Hall. We opened for 2,500 people. It was an amazing opportunity to hear people chanting DCU, DCU. It was amazing, especially since I started it 4 years ago, and some of my students who I had 4 years ago are still with me to this day, and they got a chance to have that experience. And so that was me watching their dreams come true and my dreams come true. It's more fun when you do it with a group of people.
That must be pretty incredible to have a dream to help other people's dreams come true.
Yes, it's exciting.
How many students you think have come through Dream City University?
Ooh, have come through?
Yeah.
We've probably had about 65 probably come through. And right now we're kind of holding steady around 30 students, 35. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about the songwriting. Well, you know what? In fact, I'm going to backpedal.
Okay.
You told me earlier that you started doing something again recently that you hadn't done in 10 years. You started performing.
I did.
Tell us about it. Why the long gap, and what does it feel to be back on the stage? What does it feel like?
Well, last night I had my first show, so it's very fresh.
Okay.
It's an exciting thing. When I first got into the songwriting, I wasn't an artist at first. And so I met a few people through being an artist. And when I got into the opportunity to go into songwriting and get the Amtrak ticket to come down to Virginia, they wanted me as a songwriter, not as an artist. So immediately I just shed the artist part of me and focused on perfecting my craft as a songwriter, because that's the class he was pretty much offering, was I'll teach you everything I can teach you about that. So I kind of just let it go. And I didn't realize I had lost a piece of myself until recently. You know, I watched my kids grow and they develop so much and they're getting so good, and I'm so happy for them. And even my business partner, Sharice, I mean, she was just helping me with video and media. She's just president of my media department, and she became an artist with DCU. So watching her develop and produce and become an artist, I just like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm the only person around who's not an artist. Maybe I should look at myself and say, okay, a lot of people love my music. Sometimes they beg me for it, so I kind of hand it out. And I've always been asked, you know, why don't you become an artist? From people in the industry. I mean, I've got people in high places who've been begging me for years to try it. And for some reason, I don't know, I just
So are you launching into something new now with folks folks that have been petitioning you to become an artist?
I like it. I actually like it. I did the show last night, and it was an incredible thing. So I'm actually going to pursue it. Today I wrote a new song, so it's all coming together.
So when you performed last evening, did you cover songs or did you do your own pieces?
I actually did one song.
Okay.
I did one song that I wrote.
Okay.
And it's a favorite of everyone around me. So
I have to ask, what is that song?
It's called Take Me to the Moon.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did you have dreams of being an astronaut as well?
No. Actually, I was just talking to a friend about going to outer space. Apparently, you'll be able to go for like 100,000 or 200,000 soon.
A lot of my friends say that I actually live in outer space, but but it's Take Me to the Moon. Tell me about it.
Well, it was one of those songs where it just kind of came naturally to me, like I talked about before. But it's a song that I wrote for someone else. As a songwriter, you kind of get used to writing to sell to a major company. Mm-hmm. So you don't think of it as your song. You just write it, and then you send it out, and you see what happens. But this song was kind of, it always felt good to me. But I would play it for people, and they always say, that's my favorite, that's my favorite, that's my favorite. And it's about love. It's about taking me to a place where, you know, I haven't been in a while, you know? And let's enjoy it, let's experience it. And I have a lot of swag, so yeah, it's a very cool song. It's a very cool song.
So you do your swag thing when you
I do my swag thing. It's very cool, very cool.
So what can we expect from you, M'Jestie, in the next 5 or 10 years? Are you gonna stay with this performing thing, this artist?
The funny thing is, I really believe that me becoming an artist is the launch pad for everything I've done, and for everything I've ever wanted to do. That's kind of probably the missing piece, and I've fought it for so long that I wouldn't be surprised if once I started on that path of being an artist, that everything just blossoms from this point on. So my goals are very broad. I just want to be able to take my artist to the next level, take myself to the next level, help as many kids as I possibly can, change the world, I mean, like everyone else.
So you started Dream City University. You've been doing this for, what, 3 years now?
4 years.
For 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actively with students for 4 years. I started the concept about 6 years ago.
I see. And much of that time you were producing and teaching and doing some songwriting. But now you are venturing back into performance as an artist again.
Yeah.
How do you think, or will it have any impact at all on the way you conduct things here at Dream City University? Will your experience on stage kind of do something? Will it have any impact on what you're doing?
Absolutely.
How would that change?
Well, when I went to start performing and preparing, when I agreed to do the show, the first thing I did was check my voice to see where I was, because I hadn't been singing for a while, and my voice was just horrible. And I said, oh my goodness, I got 2 weeks to figure this out. And I started to do the exercises that I use in class. And I said, well, let me test my own theories and let me do the things I tell my kids to do. And then once I started doing that, I realized that I could push it. I could push the envelope. Whatever I was teaching them, I could take it to the next level. And I started to do that and then sharing that with them. And so watching them get better, myself get better. I mean, it's just an amazing thing just to be able to perform, see what it's like, feel what it's like, and share that with them as well as them share with me. I've got them, they teach me, they get me in shape. So it's a beautiful sharing experience.
Frequently that happens where the student imparts some knowledge to the instructor. Yeah.
Yes, all the time. Every day I have 5-year-olds telling me what to do. So it's good.
What would you say was your greatest challenge in your career?
Ooh.
That's a tough question.
That's a big question.
I
It's
mean,
not
particularly
tough.
when you...
It's very, very real. My biggest challenge was living up to the expectations of the industry for me and my career. And then getting over the fact that I couldn't or I didn't want to. I couldn't decide. I couldn't figure out if it was because I couldn't or because I just wanted to rage against the machine. You know, they wanted me to write. When I wrote Pawn to Replay, they just wanted another Pawn to Replay. They didn't care about me necessarily. They didn't care about my story or what I wanted, or they just wanted, the money.
Yeah,
So it's like, okay, well, if you can generate, millions and millions of dollars and launch a new artist the way you did with just this one song, what else can you do and how fast can you do it?
Right.
And if we put this money in your pocket, can you do it even quicker? And the money in my pocket was almost, it felt like, and it was kind of tough to say, but it just felt like a gun to the head. It just felt very uncomfortable for me. Because, like I said, I'm used to the wall singing. So when you put someone in who's used to working purely off of inspiration, and you put them in a situation where they have to deliver on a more technical way, it was shocking. I wasn't prepared.
So that situation took away the spontaneity of it all.
Absolutely.
And it kind of forced you into...
Yeah, and I didn't know if I was wrong or if they were wrong or if I was good at it. I just didn't know. I didn't understand. Quite honestly, I didn't grasp the concept of, I just didn't grasp it.
Based on that experience, what would you say to an aspiring songwriter? What expectations should they have? Maybe that's an unfair question. What do you think they should look out for, be prepared for?
I tell them, and I give them the choice. If you want to be a hit songwriter, there's a formula. And there are rules that you have to follow. There are things you want to look out for in order to create a hit record. If they want to be free and say, M'Jestie, I don't want your formula. Leave me alone. I just want to create. If you like it, take it. If you don't like it, leave it. Mm-hmm. And I respect that from them. If they want to be creative,
right.
Be creative. That may not equal money, but be creative. But if you want to make money, I can show you what you need to do that as well. So I give them the options, and no one ever gave me the option. It was almost like, you got this publishing deal, you got this opportunity, you're right here. Mm-hmm. As soon as the song came out on the radio, I never forget, I got a phone call. Don't get comfortable, this is just the beginning. But this is my dream since I was 7. 16 years I've invested. I'm 23 years old, I've invested 16 years of my life for one goal. And the day it happens, someone's calling me saying, hey, don't get comfortable. It's the beginning. And I'm like, this is all I wanted.
So you would tell an aspiring songwriter to be themselves and make a decision whether or not they want to go for the formula mm-hmm. or they want to be true to themselves.
Yeah.
The formula is what I like to talk about. Can you elaborate on that?
I wish I knew more about it, then I would be sitting here and just being that kind of writer. I teach them repetition is important. Climaxing of a record, going from the beginning, having a build, having a story, depending on what the record does. Just kind of, if they're missing something, I can kind of step in and say, this is where you have to make a change, or this is where you're going to need to make a change in order to make it more top 40 friendly. Mm-hmm. So those are things, with hit records, it's all about repetition. It's all about repetition. And sometimes my artists, they look at me and they're like, well, I don't want to say this over again. I'm like, you have to, because it gets in people's minds. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And with Pawn to Replay, I didn't even realize I was doing it. But when I go back and I listen and I see the whole run, and the melody and the staccato-ness of it all, come Mr. DJ, song Pawn to Replay, come Mr. DJ, want to turn the music up? Come Mr. DJ, turn the music up. Come Mr. DJ, turn the music up. It's like wow, I did it, and I didn't even realize I was doing that. So there's a formula to getting stuck in people's minds, all that kind of stuff.
So when that repetition of a phrasing sticks in someone's mind, that it motivates them to go perhaps and buy the record.
It forces them to listen to the radio station over and over again to then utilize the advertisements. No one buys records. Some people do,
I'm old
but most
school,
people don't.
I remember the great big plastic black CDs. They called them
Yeah,
albums.
records. I miss those days. It was much simpler. The music industry was much simpler back then. Nowadays, it's all about who you know, what you've done, it's very complicated. And a lot of people, I think, even higher ups, executives in the industry, don't even know how to move or where to move. I think everyone's kind of stuck. And that's why Dream City University to me is so important, because we're giving artists an opportunity to just be artists and not to overthink it, and opening up a new lane for artists and music and people who like music and want to buy music, especially for people who like clean music, because that's our focus, is clean music.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Well, kind of on the periphery. I think that songwriters they can either be a storyteller or a messenger. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think they come together.
Is there any particular format that you feel, other than the repetition, that you feel is more effective than the other? I guess storytellers are like when folks are singing R&B, that kind of thing.
I just like real artists. It's like, there's a lot of these bubblegum songs or pop songs that, they make you listen, make you dance. But I like artists to be artists, Be who you are. Figure out who your fan base is. Figure out what you're targeting. What do you want? What do you want from your fans? What do you want them to feel when they come see you? How do you want them to feel when they leave you? After a long day, why do they listen to your record? Why do they care about you? And it can't be just to turn up or to go out and party, because most people don't go out to clubs that often. So when you think about music, music should touch the soul. Music should either make you happy, make you dance, or make you cry. A great record's either going to do one of those two things, and really, really great records do both. Like Off the Wall. If I hear Off the Wall, it's like, I'm singing, I'm dancing, and I'm crying at the same time, because it's so much beautiful energy in it.
Well, I really enjoyed talking to you, and I want to give you the opportunity to add anything now that you would like to add about what you're doing with Dream City University, about the students that you have, in 30 seconds or less.
Well, anything you want to know about me, you can find at dreamcityuniversity.com. Anything about my students, dreamcityuniversity.com is the place to go. We're just here to change the world. Music on radio is made for ages 18 to 25. And there's a gap. Disney's made for 5 to 12. There's a gap between 13 and 17, and Dream City University is here to fill that gap. Clean music, fun family entertainment, where we inspire and we reward people who chase their dreams.
And we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of BioRhythms. Remember, you can check us out online at www.terravisionentertainment.com, TerraVisionent, something like that. Thank you.